Okay, so I'm going to explain this really quick for everyone to understand. Alright, so the clash of civilization, it changes basically kind of like what you stand for. So, matriarchia, if women go opposed to me, I can have a bullet in my head, right? Because I'm a patriarch. I like women that want to be with four wives. They don't want that. They just want marriage with one woman, and it's not traditional. But the problem is that there's wars, international wars like Islamization and Russian civilization. So in those civilizations, there's like smaller kind of like cultural wars, right? Like Soviet Union versus democracy, but they can change between the two. So like I can listen to salsa, then I can listen to like freaking salsa and reggaeton. So then that means that I'm part of society. I'm part of like the new culture, because sometimes culture can go against the former culture. So let's get into retrospect, if that's the term. But the problem is that, well, they went to war with Islam, and so Islam is a representation of being uniting civilization. So if you go to war with the faith, that means that you're not trying to unite with civilizations. And that means every other civilization will eventually go to war with Europe. So this means that their civilizations mean faith, fundamental faith means that civilizations can be united under the faith, and they can have multiracialism. But when Europe ended up invading Iraq, Afghanistan, or the U.S., because the U.S. civilization is Euro-U.S., and it's Euro-U.S., and it's interesting because they're constitutionally allies with Spain and just France. So it seems like they envisioned a Spain and France European civilization. But let's fast forward, hit the fast forward button, and back to the future. So if this civilization conflict is happening, which is happening now, this worldwide international war, right? This means that basically, eventually, Islam, since it has war with the U.S. went to like 9-year war, 10 years, there's like 10 years in there, and they're fighting whatever to overcome Islam. They wanted to democratize Islam, so they wanted to change their civilization to their civilization, but that means that the faith, as a fundamental faith, isn't accepting of their civilization. And it is accepting to their civilization. The problem is that the disbelievers decided to create their own civilization using the bank. Because and it's Satan's tribe. This means the angel of beliefs and the mark of the beast is a civilization. And that's the letters that the U.S. is honing in using the Federalists. And what this means is that the Bank of Europe might not be the same civilization as the U.S. So that's a conflict of civilization versus civilization, which the U.S. and Europe are one civilization, but their bank civilization is not the same. So yes, they fought in Islam. Islam wants to conquer. They wanted to subject Islam, but Islam has fought many imperial wars. I mean, Africa can send swords. Middle East sent swords all over the Middle East. They could send swords against the U.S. and Europe. They fight in France because they behead people because they went against Islam. They said don't mock our Prophet Muhammad. They go and fight civilization war, and basically the Franks, they're just one race. All right, they're trying to have like the black race there to like cool tensions of slavery and so forth. But like realistically, Islam is again multi civilization to unify, and it's also multiracial. So whenever the France throw swords, it's like disrespecting the Arabs because it comes from the Arab race. So it's almost like an Arab war. But Islam has had multiplicity of layers of civilization, but united under Islamization. So they picked a fight over there, and now they're fighting back and forth. But the problem is Puerto Ricans are in that war because because of their decision, we are from the U.S. backdrop. So meaning that we're not part of the U.S., but we're part of the U.S., and they send our soldiers to fight over there in the Middle East. So it basically dragged us in. So what that means is that they will subjugate our tribe if the U.S., Europe, falls. And they picked the tribe of Mark of the Beast, so they're going to fall anyhow. So we don't want any part of that shit. They made a bad decision using the federal government to fight on the side of the Mark of the Beast, try, not help the economy, let the economy, fall. Basically, they want it to fall because there's more idolaters. They don't care. They want it to fall, and then Islam will come and try to climb some way somehow to debilitate it. Or China, because China is trying to use the economic system engines of the Middle East. So yes, man, they brought us into that racial, because they look at the race that's fighting them. They look at the race and tribe, and they see that it was American citizens being sent over there. It was like Europeans. Europeans are Germanic, part of our ancestry line, and so they're going to like come and subjugate. If even though they might be Islam, they're going to test them for the Godhead. So I don't care, man. It's not a choice that I made. It was a choice that other people made for the Puerto Rican people before talking to the Puerto Rican tribe, and that's the problem of colonialism. That's why they called us criollo, because people came and made a decision for our tribe, and it wasn't our decision.